Ah! Dang, I love this. Whew. Good morning, I think. I'm actually in Florida and it's freezing. So the reason I'm back down in Bienville is because we're doing the Kayak Bass Fishing Bienville Beatdown, which is a members only tournament, and at the same time on 2 different lakes we're doing a what's called the 10. It's where the top 10 in points from last year come and compete against each other for $10,000. So awesome. And they're in day 2. The first day, the top 2 guys had over 100 inches in 5 fish. That gotta be some kind of record or something, I don't know. But anyway, I'm fishing. Today I'm going to, we're gonna be out here for just a few hours. I pretty much know where the fish should be. The hard part's gonna be getting them to bite, so stay tuned. I guess you could kind of call this a vlog, but I'm going to teach you everything that I'm learning as I'm learning it. All right, so the conditions I'm faced with today is we are 2 days after a huge cold front. I'm freezing. My hands are cold. As long as I stay closer to the warm water, my hands stay, you know, it's bearable. But this guy, I get really cold when my hands get cold, so I'm kind of a baby when it comes to that. But the conditions are, the water temperature, of course, is tanking. The bass want to spawn. It was 64, 65 degree water temperature a couple of days ago. They really do want to spawn. So what's going to happen is those big females and some of the males are going to pull out of the shallow water and go to the first drop or the first big piece of cover and just kind of hang out at whatever depth they feel comfortable at. If that first drop is at 3 feet and they don't want to be at 3 feet, they're going to pull out until they get to that comfortable temperature. A lot of them will buck up into the thick cover and just kind of hang out there if the sun's shining and get warm. So that's kind of what I'm trying to determine right now. I'm in a pocket in this little lake. This is Lake Thomas, where I like to go. And I'm going today just because the 10 are all fishing over on Lake Purvis. And but I'm looking for beds. And here on this lake, you got a ton of grass. I've got grass all the way down to about 10 feet deep. And I'm looking for holes in the grass that go to the bottom, that I can see the bottom, so that, because that'll be a bed. This whole cove is covered with grass. And so if I find a hard patch of bottom, which is white because it's sand underneath here, it's got a sandy bottom, then I'll look and see if there's a bass on it. And if there's a lot of them, I know there's a good concentration of fish sitting out here waiting to move up and spawn, and I'm gonna pull out and fish. I'm going to slow way down. These Florida bass are really, they hate the cold weather and they hate changes. So I'm going to slow way down and pull out. And hopefully I can find a spot where they're concentrated. So that's my train of thought going into this. Hopefully I don't get too frustrated with it. But so far I'm halfway in this pocket and I haven't seen a single bed. So we'll see what happens. All right, so I just passed a bed. You guys might be able to see that bare spot right there. There's about a 2-pound male on it. I'm gonna keep looking around. I've seen 3 beds so far, 2 small ones, way up shallow, completely empty. That one's a little bit deeper. And that's the kind of stuff I'm looking for, just those holes in the grass that go all the way to the bottom. All right, so I only found 1 bed in this little pocket. And so because of the conditions, because it was just a little 2-pound male, a little 1.5-pound male, you can decide to stop and fish for it. I'm looking for a concentration. What I'm trying to find is their favorite little spawning bay, or their favorite place to spawn on this lake. And I'm just looking for multiple beds. And if I can find multiple beds that have already been fanned by a male, then I'll just pull out to the deep water right off the edge of the grass is where it's probably going to be on this one. And I'm just going to work really methodically, real slow and careful on in that deeper water. All right, so basically what I've decided to do is just go around and look for these bare spots. Not very many of them around here. I've got a whole lot of milfoil, a whole lot of hydrilla up underneath the water, and it's just blanketing the whole surface or the whole bottom. And so One thing bass cannot do is they can't pull up grass. So they've got to find these bare spots in the grass. And like I said, there's not very many of them, so I'm setting up on 2 of them right now. I've got this real steep bank right here, and I got 2 bass that are sitting on some bare spots right there. If this doesn't work, I'm going to go back out to the middle of the lake and I'm going to try to drag deep. Put a little bit more weight on that hook and or on that end of my line and see if I can't drag a little bit deeper. All right, so when you're sneaking up on a fish on the bed, you don't ever want to block access to the deep water. When these fish spook, they go into the grass, into this deep water. What I'm doing, I may have pulled too close to them, but I'm pulling up on the bank, upwind from them, getting my kayak set right. The wind will keep me pushed into the bank. And I drop my power pole. Oh man, that wasn't the fish. Ah, I got him. If I can get him to the boat, this will be the first fish of the day. Get up in here. Woo, that one was hard fought. Man, oh man, oh man. That ain't good fish, guys. Goodness gracious. Not bad. All right, let me tell you how I'm doing this. Took my my Texas rig, and I'm out here in this big, huge flat, and there's bare spots in the hydrilla. There's hydrilla all over this flat, but there's bare holes. And you can see them because it's that nice bright white sand that you get down here, this part of Florida. And I'm throwing past them and dragging this Texas rig. I've got it rigged like a punch. Like a punch rig, got a pegged weight and everything else. Makes it come through the grass easier and doesn't get wrapped up as much. As soon as I get it into that clearing, I get hammered. I gave up in looking for bedding fish because, well, they're not bedding. This cold front has pushed them way out, and my guess is that it's pushed them out to these grass edges around these holes, and they're just sitting in the holes waiting for something to swim past and coming out and hitting it. So I'm gonna sit right here for a few minutes. I've got several of them around me. I'm gonna move a little bit and got several more. The sun's starting to come out, starting to get a little warm. Let's see how many I can catch. I've already gotten 3 bites and I finally got that one to the boat. So pretty darn cool. Oh, and I don't want to rip the tail off, but I'm still fishing it. I just threw about 5 feet past it and I'm dragging it out of the grass, and as soon as it gets to the bare bottom, I slow way down. There's a bite. And a fish. Woo, sometimes you just got to give up looking for the big girls and go get bit. Makes you feel like you know what you're doing sometimes. Dang, I love this. All right, so the challenge of kayak fishing is making room for everything. Come on. Ah, look at that pretty fish. Look how fat he is. Short little tail. My goodness. Oh man. Okay, let me tell you what I was doing. I've got a medium heavy rod with 20-pound test fluorocarbon on it. This is that creeper head I was talking about several videos ago. Sometime last year I made the video on how to fish this thing. It's a little shaky head, and I've got a little rage cutter worm on it with their favorite color. Ah, toad. Man. They're just fat and healthy out here. That's what's really cool about them. So when I was just dragging it through the grass, and there's grass, and then there's bare holes of sand, and grass and another bare hole of sand, and I got it hung up in the grass, and I ripped it out, and it fell down in one of those holes of sand, and I felt my line and watched my line go dunk. Counted to 3, because that's what I like to do when I'm fishing this bait, and basically just kind of how I felt. I didn't feel like he just had the tail. Or I originally felt like he just had the tail, but he didn't. Man, awesome. All I'm doing is I'm sitting in shallow water. I'm throwing out to deep water. You see how shallow I am? I mean, the grass is sitting right there. Throwing out into deep water and dragging it really, really slow up the hill. And when I feel something, you know, it might be the edge of the grass, it might be something hard. I just feel, when I run into something, I'll shake the rod a little bit, and then I'll just drag it some more. The creeper is exactly what it's meant to, you know, what the main name means. You creep it along the bottom. So you just kind of drag it. And it's actually made for crawfish baits, but I love to fish, you know, any kind of worm on it, any kind of soft plastic on it, really. And these post-front conditions like we're faced with, it can be absolutely amazing when it's, you know, pre-spawn. They want to move up to spawn, but the, you know, weather's not letting them. All right, guys, well, we got to go. I got to go pick up some stuff over at the lodge. I hope you guys enjoy this video. Like I always say, be sure to introduce somebody to fishing. Introduce them to my channel. Let me help you teach them how to fish. More importantly, get out in the water, go out and catch some fish, and have a great day.